let's look at the message. Matthew 6, we're in verse 25 of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus says, I tell you, do not worry about your life. That's a command. Do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Then he says, look at the birds of the air, for they do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? And Jesus says, see how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? So, here it is again, do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and then all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, one more time in case we didn't get it, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Jesus tells us a couple of things about worry, and I'll paraphrase, but first of all, I think Jesus is telling us that worry is an exercise in futility. It's an exercise in futility. It's a waste. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. I mean, if you worry enough, will it stretch your bank account? If you worry enough, can you keep cancer at bay? If you worry enough, can you change the way you perceive people perceiving you? Those are some of the things we worry about in life. No, it accomplishes nothing. Number two, worry is not only an exercise in futility, but Jesus tells us that worry is a demonstration, and this is painful, it's a demonstration of faithlessness. Worry is a demonstration of faithlessness. To worry really is to insult the God who has promised to meet our every need. So how do we deal with this matter of worry? How do we take on anxiety? It takes more than willpower. It takes more than the preacher standing up on Sunday morning. All right, people, snap out of it. Quit your worrying. I'm preaching to myself today, by the way. I may be the chief of sinners in this sermon. So how do we deal with it? Jesus tells us three things. First of all, we need to get to know God better than we do. Verse 32, he says, people who don't know God and the way he works fuss over these matters of whether or not my needs are going to be met. Here, but second, Jesus tells us that we're to put God first. We're to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, he says in verse 33. And when we do that, when we get our priorities in order and God is number one in our life, then everything else falls into place. You see, anytime you take God out of the center of your life and put anything else there, even good things, and we do that. Sometimes we put a lot of good things at the center of our lives, but you're going to worry when anything other than God is on the throne of your heart. Then finally, Jesus gives us this great advice. Live one day at a time. Matthew 6:34. So don't be anxious about tomorrow. God will take care of your tomorrow too. Live one day at a time.